Hey, hey.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Candidly Speaking with Kellen and Chelle. I'm Kelle.
I'm Chelle. We are so glad that you're here.
Yes, we are. Why don't you do the like and subscribe spiel, and then I'll do the sponsor spiel.
Okay, that'd be great. We would love it if you would like our Facebook page, Candidly Speaking with Chelle Kelle. And we also have a YouTube channel by the same name, and we would love to have you subscribe to that. So you can find us both places. And if you're watching, please let us know. Please put your name. I guess you don't have to put your name. Your name kind of shows up, but put where you're from and that you're watching in the comments. We would love to see that. And also, if you're watching the replay, if you could put hashtag replay, we just like to know that you're here. So there you go.
That was perfect. You did that perfectly. So today's show is sponsored by Blue Sky. Oh, Cards That Wow. If you want your brand to stand out when your client receives a note or a letter from you, send them a card that wows, and they really will say wow. And Blue Sky Video Productions. Bruce Himmelblau is our wonderful producer, live stream producer. He's a YouTube strategist. He's just amazing. And he makes all of this easy so that we can just be us. So,
all we do is sit here.
That's all. We just sit here. Yeah. Okay, so quickly, what I wanted to talk to you about today, it's not makeup related. It's we're both in Team 17. Yeah. And how is your was it no Coke? Or no?
No, I tried to do no Coke.
Okay, that didn't work.
But no, I didn't actually try. I just thought about it, but I am going to do that. But what I did for the first 17 days of the year straight is I went to the gym every morning at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And I also ate nothing, not even a drink from an establishment that has a drive-through. That doesn't mean just not going through the drive-through. That just means if there's a drive-through, I stay away. So I did that for the first 17 days of the year. Awesome. And then I started over again. So I am still doing that. And hopefully the next 17 days, I can get away from my beloved Diet Coke. But y'all, that's going to be, I'd rather get up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning than not.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to talk to you those days.
So, because I say I don't have like a caffeine addiction, but I'm sure I do. There's no way that I couldn't. I have had Diet Coke since I was, I think it was introduced when I was maybe like a junior in high school. So really dating myself there. But yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of addiction, I didn't start on the 1st. There's Jamie Green. Hey, Jamie Green.
Hi, Jamie Green.
And Phil. I didn't start on the 1st. I don't know. We were trying to decide.
I think you started last Monday.
Last Monday. So I gave up caffeine. And I'm going to tell you, the 2nd and 3rd day, I had headaches like you wouldn't believe. I thought they were debilitating headaches. So, but I think I made it through the tough part, and I am going to give up sugar my next 17.
Like just like refined sugar, or you mean like?
I decided I'm going to have like honey, natural, and I don't even want to do the stevia stuff. So I'm either just going to not put sugar in things that I normally would put sugar things in. Put things in. So wish me luck on that one.
Well, good luck. I would not do. I have got such a sweet tooth, and I always.
I know, but I believe that you can be addicted to caffeine and sugar. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'll let you know how that goes, but that's not starting for another 3 weeks. So, but that's I just wanted.
Maybe you can do that, and I'll do Diet Coke, and we will try to get through that.
We could be miserable together.
We will cheer each other on, and we will, come out victorious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're going to say anyway.
Okay, well, let's talk our amazing guest. Amazing.
I am so excited. Y'all, we are so happy tonight to have Sue Lawson with us. Sue is in Chicago, and she is a filmmaker, a film editor. She is amazing.
She's everything.
She is. She's the president and CEO of her own company called ChicagoEdit. So please welcome Sue Lawson.
ladies.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so
Thanks for
excited
having
that
me.
you're
Good to
here.
see you guys.
So, what is the weather in Chicago? I'm sitting right in front of a huge window right here, and it has been pouring snow. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, for probably the last 3 hours. All day. It's one of those days today. Everybody running to get the milk and the bread. Everybody running to the store, and it just kind of looks like a little wonderland out there right now. So,
if you have an inch, you're stocking up on bread and things. We're in the Chicagoland area. I'm just saying, we know snow.
Yeah.
We don't start stocking up until, I don't know, maybe 24 inches or so.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we know snow.
That is so funny. Because when I lived in Illinois, I shoveled 6 feet of snow sometimes. And just when you got done, the snowplow would go and block off the driveway again.
That's the hard part.
And then I moved here. I moved to Grass Valley, which is in California, Northern California. And they got their first snow in like 100 years, the year we moved here. And there was literally an inch of snow. Closed the whole town down, closed the schools, closed everything. It was crazy. I'm like, are you serious?
We had a friend who moved down to Kentucky, and she said that the first time that there was like an inch of snow, there was a run on bread and supplies in the stores, and people were amazed that she knew how to drive in that, and they were closing down things. And she's just, I am from Chicago. An inch is nothing.
Right.
I remember having to pick up the reporters. I worked at the newspaper at the time, and I had to pick up the press guy, a reporter. I had to get somebody from each department so the paper could go out.
There you go.
And I'm like, really? It's an inch.
I got you to find a loaf of bread within a 5-mile radius of my house right now. It's just So,
but it's pretty to look at no matter what.
You know what? Right now, truly, it is. It's gotten dark now, so I can't see, but it's just beautiful. So, well, Sue, so you have your own company. You do video editing
I do indeed.
Production. Well, tell us about that. What do you do?
I do a little bit of everything. I do everything from corporate videos to real estate videos to training videos, music videos, independent films, documentaries, micro documentaries, things like that. So a little bit of everything.
How
I want to know did you know, okay, I'm born and I can speak. I'm going to be a video editor or an editor.
I went to school for this. This is
okay. So did you know you wanted to do that, or was it something you kind of fell into? How did you?
At the time, good question. At the time, I thought I wanted to be a director. Okay. And I did do some directing early on, but I found out that I really loved editing because that's the final direction of any film, any project. You are the final say with everything, with the client's approval, of course.
Sure.
But you are the final hands that touch that and make it whole. So I absolutely love that. And you don't have to deal with as many egos. Mm-hmm. Because when you're the director, you're dealing with whether or not it's a corporate director dealing with the CEOs of the company and the marketing department and everybody else, or if you're on a film set and you're dealing with all of the stars. If you're the editor, you're just pretty much dealing with the director, maybe a couple of producers, but that's it. And if you're working on the corporate side, you're dealing with your point of contact, and that person's dealing with everybody else. So a lot less headaches and a little less caffeine. Maybe. Maybe.
That is interesting because I guess I didn't realize that. I thought that you probably were with, I'm thinking of divas who, think they know everything about it, or even, at a corporate level. I know if I have something done, I think I know everything there is to know about it, and I don't know anything about it, Sue. So, yeah. So
yeah, or the corporate president
at the end.
Or the president says, "Do not cut out the thing with my daughter," even though it's probably the worst acting you've ever seen in your life.
Yep. Right. And you leave that in. You try to help them get the best video. What's really going to engage, whether or not it's their customers or their audience. And sometimes it's a little push and pull. I think to myself, every editor feels this way, I'm sure. You're hiring me not just to push the buttons, not just for the technical expertise, but for the creativity and to be able to bring that message to the screen. And it's the big screen, the small screen, the iPhone screen, whatever. But as one of my mentors told me in the early days, he said that he would tell his clients, I will give you my opinion and you can take it or leave it. I will do what you say. And I've adopted that. It's just like, hey, I work for you. I will do what you say. But I find most of the time, if I show them what I've done, a lot of times they're like, oh, that is better.
You do know what you're talking about. Wow.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I didn't see that. And sometimes I will be fair and say sometimes they are right. And that's good too, because it's all about that final product. So
that's amazing.
Collaboration. We're all supposed to be discussing it and trying to determine what's going to be best for this.
Yeah, you're all on the same team. I can imagine though that sometimes that can be taxing. So, and you were talking about the big screen, the small screen, the little screen that we hold in our hands, because talk a little bit about just how it has changed over the last few years, Sue, because now we're just, we have images everywhere we look. You no longer just have to buy a ticket to go to a movie theater or switch on your TV. There's things everywhere. And now looking at a screen, there's the big picture and then there's all the little stuff running along the bottom. So what's it like?
Just content creation overall has changed over the years. There was a big push a few years back where corporations were saying, well, let's do this ourselves. We're going to give iPhones to our managers and we're going to have them go out and shoot things. And they'd come back to you and want you to put them together and have it look good, kind of organic. That was a very big term, organic. But, let's go ahead and get that message across. That has given way. I'm going to say that the biggest change has been in the past year, largely because of COVID, where this is the new norm. I do a lot of virtual things these days where I'll get your video, I'll get other videos that, of other people, and I will edit it all together, especially for like the big conferences that used to go on. They're not anymore. Not in the traditional sense where 100,000 people will show up. Instead, they're pushing it through to the internet. This is how it's going. So that has changed dramatically. Also, what people accept these days as far as production standards are concerned. The way, you gals look great, but let's face it, if we were in a studio with proper lighting and everything else, we would look even better than we do. Oh my gosh, the camera would just break because we would be so fabulous.
That's what we need to talk. Sue, I don't know why I always say I look like the poster child for anemia on here. I do not know. I have this angelic glow. It's not there in person. I gotta tell you, it's not. I have no idea why I look like this.
And I always have darkness.
But you guys look even better in person. I know
it's hard to believe. It boggles the mind, but yes.
I resemble a young Anne Margaret in real life. But the way this looks right now, I don't quite. So, but I could. In real life, from the Viva Las Vegas years.
Yeah. I can see it. And Joe wants to hang with us. Joe, we will call you Joe. We will call you whatever we want.
But you have to spell it Jelle.
You have to put an E on the end. Yeah. Kelle didn't have the E on the end of her name, but
I wanted as many E's as spelled.
That she do that.
I didn't want her to have more E's than me.
Well, there's got to be some equality here. So.
But I have more L's, so we weren't going to add L's to her name because then we could have gone on forever if we went back and forth. So, what about you? Talked about mentors. Who are your mentors, and who have been your guides in this journey?
My guides are people that I have known and worked with. One of the organizations that I worked with very closely here in Chicago from, well, years and years and years, was called the Chicago Creative Pro. Most recently, the most recent incarnation was the Chicago Creative Pro User Group. There are a number of user groups across the world, actually, not just the country. And the one, obviously, that was closest to me was Chicago. And it was there I met a number of people who were incredibly helpful when it came to getting me really good gigs and giving me answers to questions. And I mean, there are people that at 3:00 in the morning, if I sent a question, because I'm a bit of a night owl, they would go ahead and answer. It's just like, no, this is the problem that you're having. This is how you fix it. So I appreciate that. But you have those unofficial mentors as well. The ones that maybe you meet along the way or you are inspired by their work. And some of those have been absolutely incredible. There is an editor that I have been fortunate enough to meet several times. She's been at conferences or we've been at the same retreats together. Her name was Ann V. Coates. She passed away last year, a year before, I think. In the past couple of years, she passed away. But she was absolutely, there we go, Ann V. Coates. She was absolutely awesome. Some of the movies that she did were Lawrence of Arabia, Out of Sight, Murder on the Orient Express. In her 80s, I believe, she did 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my goodness.
And when the last time I saw her, I had asked her, and I think she was just starting to work on that. No, maybe she had done it already. And it's just, she just kept looking younger every time I saw her. She was so energetic. And the first time I met her, I asked her for advice because I was working on my first movie at the time. And it's just like, I need some advice. I feel like I could tweak this forever. I said, when do you know that you're done? Mm-hmm. She said, that was very simple. You are done either when you run out of time or when they run out of money. And I thought, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. At 80 some odd years old, when the last time we were talking, and I was asking her about, you have no plans to slow down. You're still editing. You're still incredibly vibrant. What keeps you going? She said, the bright side is, she goes, the wonderful thing is, she goes, I can pick and choose my projects now. She said, I have reached that point where I don't have to take every movie that comes along. Mm-hmm. And if I want something where I'm going to work relatively normal hours, which is not normal in our industry at all, but relatively normal hours and work close to home and not have a long commute, she goes, those are the projects that I'm taking. I'm not taking something that is going to require me to still be in the cutting studio at 2:00 in the morning. Right. So those are the unofficial mentors, the ones that you don't talk to every day, but you get those wonderful words of wisdom from them.
Well, that's cool. I think we've learned something from her this evening. That was a brilliant statement, really.
Yes.
I think I'm going to try that. Industry when they run out of time or money.
That's right.
I'm going to use that.
Wise words from a wise lady.
Absolutely.
So how long does the process take, Sue? If let's say you're editing a movie, how long does that take? Because, you'll see, we went to a movie. I hadn't seen a movie in over a year. And we went on Saturday and saw a movie.
What did you see?
We saw Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
Woman.
I've seen it, so.
Yeah, I saw Wonder Woman. And, it's just amazing. I mean, screen after it just kept scrolling, and each, there were 100 names on the screen. I just can't imagine. I understand why, tickets cost what they cost because of all of the people involved. But how long does your part of that take? Because you come in at the end, you come in when everything is finished, or do you do it as they complete scenes? How does that work?
It depends on the project. Most of the ones that I've worked on, I come in at the end. They've already shot the ones that I do. Unfortunately, I haven't done a Wonder Woman yet. So I don't have that type of big budget that I'm working with. So usually by the time I get involved, everything is shot. So I get this big dump of data and then start trying to make sense out of it. With Some movies, I have done a couple of films where I was brought on very early in the process. So on a daily basis, I was processing what in the industry is known as dailies. So the director could go ahead and take a look and see, okay, let's see how that stuff is looking that we actually shot. Did we get the coverage that we need? Is there anything that we need to go back and shoot again? So sometimes you get brought on early, other times it's much later. And as far as how long the project could last, that's another thing. That's like, how long is a piece of string? You know, it all depends. For the types of movies that you're talking about, like a Wonder Woman, there are so many effects in there. And as you saw, 5 minutes worth of credits of people who worked on effects.
Yeah.
There are people who, okay, I'm just working on the star field. I'm just working on, the background here. This is the only thing that I'm working on. And they could be working on that for a year.
Yeah.
And
I can imagine.
You're cutting things together and you're putting up something saying, this type of action is going to be going here when you finally get those plates in.
And there was just so much, not my favorite movie ever. I mean, I enjoyed it, but just all of the things going on the screen at once. It wasn't, people sitting, just having dinner, or just all kinds of things. I just can't imagine trying to put a handle on that, Sue, and get it together where it all makes sense and everything is the way it should be. So are you working on visual or sound, or I know nothing about
no, depending on the project. In that perfect world, where there's, where we don't live, that's why there's Walgreens and wine. In a perfect world, you have dedicated staff for each of those things. So you may have an editor or a series of editors who are going to work on the picture edit. You have other editors who are going to work on the sound, other ones for the music. So you have different people who are going to work on all these various aspects of the film. Then you come down budget-wise, and even on corporate films as well, where the expectation is that one person is going to do it all. They're going to do the color, they're going to do the sound, they're going to not just make sure that the sound isn't too loud in spots and too soft in other spots. They're going to go ahead and add in, it's an outside shot. So let's hear some birds in the background, but very, 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 very remotely in the background, maybe a plane overhead at some point. They're going to go ahead and create those and layer them in, and it becomes almost a symphony that they're creating with the background noises, and then marrying that to the music and marrying that to voices. And let's make sure that the voices are nice and clear and everything's coming through nicely. There have been projects that I've worked on where I literally they've done several takes. This take has the best intonation, but this take has the best visuals. Let me take the audio from this one and put it in her mouth here. So it sounds the way we want it to sound, but it looks the way we want it to look. And then there are the people who have to come back in and re-record something because, nobody noticed the fire or the smoke alarm going off in the background with the beep, beep, beep. Yeah. And you just want to say, change the battery, please. How could you not have noticed that? How could you go through an hour-long interview with that beeping in the background and nobody changed it?
Wow. So that is just fascinating to me. My mind is blown, really, Sue. Mm-hmm. And I think about everything you're saying, and I mean, you are, do these technical things, but truly, you are an artist. Mm-hmm. Really putting all of this together. I mean, I can't, because you are. It is like a symphony or a canvas, or fill in the word.
A giant crossword puzzle or a jigsaw.
That's what I was going to say. A puzzle. You must have puzzles.
Which piece goes where? What's going to fit? How's it going to work just perfectly? So interestingly, I did a puzzle during this long COVID thing. We did a puzzle at my house back in probably last January, and it was a puzzle where every piece was exactly the same. So everything would fit anywhere, but the entire puzzle, once put put together told a story. So do you have the right story? Do you have the right outcome here? And that is what making a film, a commercial, a video, a documentary, a tribute, a job training film, that's what that is. It's putting all the pieces together because they could go anywhere. What's going to work? What's going to make the right picture and tell the right story?
It's amazing.
Wow.
So let's talk about being a creative.
Okay.
So I'm guessing I really kind of touched on this earlier, but so do you ever find yourself working and it's 2 or 3 in the morning and you think it's 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. My mom, she's very analytical. She doesn't understand that. She's like, and then I'll sleep for a couple hours and then you get up and, oh, I got an idea. You go do it again, don't you?
Exactly. Because you know, when the muse hits, if you will, when you get into the groove, you just want to keep going and you're not paying any attention to time.
Right.
Now, on the corporate ones, there are times because, as I said, I do corporate videos as well. And with some of those, in the old days when everybody could get together, it's like they would shoot all day and then come and offload a bunch of video to me at night. And I would get that around 10 o'clock at night, maybe midnight. And then you start working through the night to craft these stories so they can show those videos first thing in the morning. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's grueling, but rewarding on many levels. When you get it right, it's very rewarding. And paycheck isn't bad either. So, but it's very rewarding that way. But with other things, I did a documentary on sex trafficking, which was a very difficult subject to go ahead and embrace. And the interviews were just, they would tear your heart out. And I mean, you would just be, oh my gosh. And 2 o'clock in the morning, you would still be listening to the stories of these women and trying to figure out what can you do with these? How can you communicate this to the audience and get the message through to them without hitting them over the head and having them feel as like so overwhelmed with things. There are, and I'm not trying to trash anybody with anything. There are commercials, and maybe you've seen them, for the ASPCA. And they're very difficult commercials.
Oh, I can't watch them. I
can't either. And I think to myself, I would edit those completely differently. And I actually did some work with Bob Barker and things before because of his love for animals. But it's just like, let's find another way of doing this where we can still pull at the heartstrings enough for people to loosen their wallets, you know, and give and donate and be aware of this problem, but not so much that they've just got to turn away from it, which
that was
what I do. And maybe I'm just super sensitive that
way. No.
They're disturbing. That's you know, not that I don't want to help the little animals, but
exactly.
That's when I want to almost, where's the remote, because I can't watch it again. And we've talked on here before, Sue, about how, you know, the things that the images or the things that we expose ourselves to and things that are negative or depressing or traumatic, you know, just treacherous, that has an effect on you, you know, and, you know, does it go away the next day? I don't know.
I don't know. And I think a lot of these things, they stay with you a lot longer than one would necessarily imagine. I actually have a cousin who's a psychiatrist, and sometimes we talk about these things. It's just like, okay, I'm working on this, and I want to get the message across to the audience, but I don't want them turning off and turning away and deciding that it's just too much for them. So where's that right, you know, you just want to hit that right balance there. And a lot of it depends on who the audience is.
Yeah.
I still have a visual in my head of the white dog in the rain, skin and bone. I mean, I can't get rid of it. It's just.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the most effective commercial, because as sensitive as I am, and as much as I want to help, I have a tendency of turning away from that, as opposed to, okay, that commercial's on, let me pick up the phone.
I turn it off, or I go to another channel. I just can't.
But you know what? And I do too. But, and again, not to call someone out, but I know you have seen the commercials for St. Jude's.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Those to me do not have the same effect. Now let me clarify that. I do support St. Jude's.
So do I.
But those are not as, I mean, you see they don't show the children there. You see them playing games and you see them.
Right.
I want to say it's not.
Right. It's showing the opposite side. It's just like,
absolutely.
Hey, here is what St. Jude's can do.
It's showing hope.
We are making a difference in these children's lives. They are happy. Yes, they may be missing a limb, but they are happy. They are carrying on. Right. We are taking care of these, and they have the kids themselves talking. And that is different than seeing them mistreated and seeing them abused. And it's a totally different mindset and a different way of approaching a problem. I
think it's just as effective. I think there are plenty of people donating to St. Jude, and certainly plenty of people, donating to the ASPCA. Yeah, but just I have a different feeling from that. So interesting, but I never even really thought of that before, Sue. Never thought of it.
It's interesting. Now, what do you consider to be one of the most? Because commercials, they are an entity unto themselves, but there are commercials that just stick with you because sometimes just for the sheer entertainment value of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are ones that will come on now that, frankly, it's just like, oh wait, hang on, I know it's a commercial, but I want to stop and watch it.
Yeah.
Budweiser.
Your favorite commercial?
Yeah. Favorite commercials. I mean, like one of my current favorites.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I think that there's just something about it where it just hit the right amount of humor. It's for like an insurance company, and the gentleman is showing about how not to be your parent.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's just like, you hear that sound that he made when he stood up or when he sat down in the chair. You don't need to do that. Okay. The waiter doesn't really need to know your name. I just think that they hit that just perfectly. Or there was one a few years back, and I don't even remember what car company it was for at the time, but it's like this little kid comes out, he's dressed like his Darth Vader, and he's been trying to use the mind thing on, the Jedi mind trick on everything in the house, and he goes outside and he goes like this, and the car starts because his dad's in the kitchen with the remote. And I just thought it was adorable. And again, it's another one of those that I'm going to watch it, and I love it. Or the dogs in the Subaru who are driving around like people.
I love the Budweiser commercial with the puppy that runs away.
Oh.
And I love the 9/11 Budweiser commercial where the horses kneel. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that one.
There was one right after 9/11 where they had a different people from the different branches of the military walking through the airport. So they had somebody from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and they're walking through, and everybody in the airport just starts applauding. And not only was it so incredibly effective, but the people were actually people in the military.
Oh,
and I mean, it just made you feel so good. So it just proud. It's just like, oh my gosh, yes, let's celebrate our military. They did such an awesome job. And here they are walking through the airport. It was a great commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I got off track.
We digress all the time.
This is unscripted girl talk, Sue.
There we go.
So, let me ask you this: how do Kellen and I are both in sales? I sell temporary staffing. Yeah, that's really exciting stuff.
Oh no! I used to do that.
Are you kidding me?
I used to do that.
I didn't know that. So does that mean maybe one day I can be an editor? Because that's a stepping stone. Sign me up. Yeah.
I used to do that. Yeah. Yes. I sold people for a living. Yeah.
what my family says. They said, yeah, you're a people pusher, flush peddler, whatever. But I mean, it is, essentially, I'm, selling labor. But, of course, how I do sales calls. A lot of times, though, there are RFPs or requests for proposal, or, you write a bid.
Mhm.
How do you get your jobs? Is it word of mouth? You're referred? How do you do that?
Well, there are RFPs in my business as well, but the best jobs that I get are word of mouth.
Okay.
They are referrals. And I think that's true for probably every
Yeah, it certainly is in my industry. Yeah.
Those are the best ones where I don't have to go in and sell myself to the client.
Right.
I've already been sold.
Yeah, because you can talk about how. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, perhaps they've seen my work someplace and they're like, oh, yeah, we want to go ahead and hire you to do whatever. And that makes all the difference in the world. It's a lot easier to begin with. And, that's the best. I used to go chasing work, like answering ads and, here's somebody, let me meet with filmmakers. Networking is still an amazing way of going ahead and, growing my business. And networking is actually easier these days because
I was just going to ask, how do you network now?
For now, it's all like this.
Virtual.
It's all virtual, which means I've always been able to work with people all over the world. Now I can network with people all over the world. I don't have to travel to do the networking. I went to the America Cinema Editors Conference, which was a couple months ago. And as opposed to me having to fly out to LA and spend a couple days there, which this was the year I was going to be able to do it. So at first I was disappointed. It's just like, wow, my schedule was finally open that I was going to be able to take advantage of this. Wasn't able to do that, but they did it virtually. I participated virtually, made a lot of great connections. I mean, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And some of the other conferences that I go to on a regular basis, everything has gone online, which makes it so easy to network and participate because the people who are hosting these conferences, they are so adept and they were able to pivot so well. Oh. So it's just like we've got these breakout rooms and we, it's like we still have, there's one I go to every year, which is called Post-Production World. And it's part of the National Association of Broadcasters convention. There are, it's a trade show that goes on all day. There are classes that are running concurrently all day. And then at night, it's all about networking with what to the lay people would look like. They're not parties. They're networking events that happen to have food and music and dancing. But they're not parties.
It's networking. It's for business.
It's networking.
Networking at its finest.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
This year they learned how to do it, or they changed it around. So they still had breakout rooms that you could go to and discuss whatever it is you wanted to discuss with whoever. They still had parties at night that you could attend. They still had raffle prizes that you could win. It was amazing.
People have figured it out and it works. And if you had told me this time last year, because I feel like now, while I wish that both of you ladies were sitting at my kitchen table with me right now, we could not be having any better conversation than we're having right now. It's Absolutely. Still, I feel like I'm right, and Sue, you're in Chicago, Kellen's in California, I'm in Kentucky, and here we all are.
So. It works. It really does work. So I think that in a lot of ways, it may not go back to the way it was. It may take a long time before it does anyway, but even when things open up, I know there's one organization that I have done a lot of business with who decided years ago to go digital as opposed to having in-person events. Mm-hmm. And I really think that this guy was such a trendsetter and trailblazer when it came to it, because he got so much pushback. But now it's just like, you were brilliant because
Right.
people have to do it now.
Right.
And they see the need and they're able to save so much in so many ways. I mean, companies that were sending out, 10, 12, 20 people to man a booth, they don't need to do that now.
Mm-mm.
And the people who were attending have gotten accustomed to making these type of connections where we can chat and we can talk and we can follow up. And it's not, hey, I have 100 business cards and I need to try to connect with all these people on LinkedIn. I think it's much more personal this way.
It is. It is. So I have a question. What would be the dream director for you to work with? Like, who would you just
Ooh.
if you could, if I said this, I can make this guy call you tomorrow if we're working on a film, who would it be?
It is a toss up between Martin Scorsese and Ron Howard.
Okay, I'll get to work on that.
Okay, thank you. I'll be waiting for that call because I have such great admiration for both of them. They are absolutely amazing. Clint Eastwood is another one who is just, his ability to tell a story is amazing. And I know that there are others that are out there who are really, really good, but those are the three. I'll go ahead and say that those are three. Oh yeah, because people like Penny Marshall, she passed away. So I could not work for her because she's no longer with us. Yeah. That would be a harder phone call for you to make. So
yeah. Well, I do have some people in my phone that say something, so maybe I can ask them.
It's interesting too, though, that 3 of the 4 that you mentioned, and to my knowledge, Martin Scorsese was never in front of the camera. Maybe he was, but 3 of those were actors, before directing. I wonder if that has anything to do with what appeals to you about them, maybe,
or what makes them great.
Yeah, they have another.
I think that they certainly bring a level of understanding to the project that other directors, hopefully they have it, but I think that at least Martin Scorsese and Ron Howard, they have the actor's perspective as well. And they're both very open when it comes to getting feedback from the actors and what would they like to do and how would they like to do it. There are so many just truly amazing, talented people out there. Those are the ones that, whose names everybody knows. And then there are the ones who are the small independent people who do amazing videos. I mean, years ago, I started going to Sundance Film Festival. And I mean, you're seeing these little independent films that are so incredibly well done. And you just sit there and say, wow, this is amazing. And perhaps you've never heard of this person, but you will, because they have done such an outstanding job that they can just get their work out there so people see it and they get the funding to make larger films, more mainstream films. There's going to be no stopping those people.
So when is that film festival?
It starts tomorrow, I think, or maybe Friday.
So who are your picks? Who should we look out for?
I don't know. I actually have not looked at the book of who's going to be there, what films are going to be there.
I need you to report back to us.
Okay. As soon as you get Scorsese to call me, I will share with you. So,
okay. Hey, don't put, I may do it.
You may. You
never know. Oh, how too fast. Oh, look at that. Thank you.
There you go. 23 hours. Okay. There you go. It starts soon.
Wow. And y'all, I'm sorry. I'm apparently having some connection issues.
Oh, there's one now. There's a great example.
Okay.
So I apologize. I don't know.
I think we can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I guess we can't hear her anymore.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let's see. What was my other? Of all the faces to get stuck. Oh, she left. Okay. Oh, hey there.
I know what my deal is. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just keep getting it keeps.
It's that snow outside.
It's the blizzard. We're almost at 1.5 inches, so Louisville's on lockdown.
You're lucky the power hasn't gone out yet. Oh,
It just did.
okay. So this is the part of the show where we will ask you about. Usually Michelle does this, but I will do this until she comes back. I'm just about ready to ask her about her moisturizer.
My moisturizer.
So what moisturizer do you use for your face?
I use Lancome. I'm a Lancome gal when it comes to moisturizer.
Okay.
You go there and they give you those little samples.
Yep.
And it's like one of those days. It's just like, wow, I really like this one. And I can't remember which one it is. It comes in a purple jar, I think.
Yeah.
And it was wildly expensive as far as I was concerned, as far as moisturizer was concerned. But it's just like, yep, I'm not going back. This is great stuff.
I am always on a quest for a moisturizer, Sue. That's why we asked that question.
I'm really happy with that Philora, whatever.
Like that.
Yeah,
I'm using Kate Somerville goat milk moisturizer. But interestingly enough, my mom, who's probably watching, she was up here. I guess it was over the weekend. Yeah. She lives 27 houses down the road, but she was either here or I was there. I don't remember which. And she said, "Here, I got you something." And she holds up this little jar of Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair.
Isn't it the best?
Oh, Mama, I love you.
But she was so cute. She said, "Well, I got it.
It's just like one day you may need this. So I want you
one day I'll put that up
wink,
for when
wink.
that time comes." But I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. I've been going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. When I get up, all I do is, I barely change clothes, but wash my face, brush my teeth, and I smear that stuff all over my face.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I think I look 29. What do y'all think?
I do not see any wrinkles. It is obviously working.
Because my light is so bright. I have lamented.
One of our guests used Crisco.
We had a guest.
I'm going to try that.
She said that a makeup artist, she was a model or an actress or something, and she said that there was a makeup artist doing her face, and she said, I thought she was like, what'd she say, Kellen, like in her 40s, and she was like 75. And she said she puts Crisco, now not the oil, but like the shortening on her face.
I wonder if that'd be good for your hair too.
That seems like it's like kind of a very old school type of thing.
Well,
my grandmother saying that would be something that she would do.
Well, and I think she said that this was probably maybe back in the 90s.
Yeah,
this lady told her that, and she was in her 70s then.
Like before Noxzema came out, Crisco.
Yeah, because did you not, when you were in high school, did you not wash your face?
Everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
I loved it.
I can still close my eyes and smell that.
Yep.
I just love putting your hand in it and digging it out.
I swear I saw a jar. I mean, it's like so long since I've been in a store just because of the whole pandemic thing. But I was in one the other day and I saw Noxzema, and it's just like, do they make that?
I didn't even know they still made it.
I didn't think they made it.
I
think they still have like a wash or something, like a pump, but wow.
I remember that blue jar, man, and that smell.
Yep.
Well, and Kellen, we've talked about this before. I used Noxzema to wash my face, and then, do you remember what comes next after Noxzema? Did you use this? Bonnie Bell 1006. Remember the 1006? What you got the big bottle about this?
Kind of looked like a big bottle of Listerine.
It did. It just kind of smelled like a big bottle of Listerine.
I totally forgotten about that.
Oh my gosh. I'm lucky if I wash my face. But I have been using that lash. What's that called?
The stuff I use is called Babe Lash.
Babe Lash, and my eyelashes are actually getting longer.
Really?
That stuff works.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that works.
Babe Lash.
Babe Lash, yeah.
Okay.
I think you have to get it like at a salon or something. My son's.
No, I got it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it.
Amazon's got everything. Let's say
Babe Lash, and I get the kind that's in. There's a couple different formulations. I get the kind that's in the gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
gold,
and I think it feels good, don't you? I feel
at night. Yeah, it does. It's
energized a little bit.
It's not
I'm going to go to sleep at 9:30.
There it
you
is.
go. Thanks, Bruce.
So
Your producers go on
I'm
top.
going to go.
It's on it.
I didn't tell you I was going to talk about this. And you should worry this time. So remember the show I did my false eyelashes?
I do.
Well, I got 2 pictures sent to me on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm not telling you what they are.
You got 2 pictures?
A man sent me some pictures.
Oh dear.
I told you looked beautiful and glamorous.
I know. Like, so I'm not wearing them ever again. I'm not wearing them.
Wow.
Would I be safe in guessing that you would not want your producer to pull up the pictures that the guy sent you?
You're safe.
Like perhaps those wouldn't be.
Yeah,
you want to show.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Oh, God, it shocked me.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not wearing them ever again.
I can see why.
That was very traumatic.
You did look really pretty. I can't do false eyelashes. I look like I've got little dead.
They're so cool. They were the magnetic ones, but it had a liner that had the
magnetic liner
stuff, and then they just clicked on, and they stayed on the whole show.
That would be so tricky to do. Okay, my terrible false eyelash story.
Oh, good. I love this.
I was at Sundance, was at a party, very she event. I had worn false eyelashes. You're laughing, talking to people. Everybody's laughing and talking back as though you were just the life of the party. You decide that you're just going to take a quick little break, go in the ladies' room. I see one false eyelash is still on. The other one's like this.
Aww.
And we're still, shall I say that I had some spinach for dinner? It's just like, no wonder everybody's laughing along with everything I say.
And nobody said anything.
Nobody, like whoever you were with, didn't say anything?
The gentleman I was with did not say a word.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Sue.
And you guys know the gentleman I was with.
Yes, we do.
That is wrong on every level.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you something. I am not trying to top that story, but Misery Loves Company.
Oh, I remember this story. Okay.
Story. Okay, I had been married about 10 minutes, I guess, and we had a family reunion. I don't know how I did this. Kellen, you may know the story. I don't know how this happened. But now this is in probably 1990. This was probably fall of 92. So I've never had little hair, but that was still really big hair day, right? I go to the family reunion and I have a hot roller right here in the back of my head. A hot roller. I don't know, because you put them on the little thing. Yeah. I don't know how I noticed that there was one missing. I don't know how I brushed my hair out with this big giant hot roller right here, but I did. And then I get to the family reunion. Did my brand new husband ever say the first word about it? No. My cousin, who I don't think he'll be watching it every now and then, his sister, my cousin Joyce, watches. My cousin came up to me, Billy, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, "So, is that the way they're wearing it in Kentucky now?" No. I was horrified. Nobody said anything to me, Sue. Probably my cousin Billy's like, "Okay, this is ridiculous. She's got a hot roller on her head." Anyway.
Well, we have a pact. We will always tell each other. And Sue, if you're in the room with us, I will tell you about your eyelash.
I would appreciate that. It's just so embarrassing. It's just like,
I used to work with a girl who would say, "Do I have pepper in my teeth like you do?" Now, see, that's helpful.
You do.
It's at least helpful, yes.
Like you do.
That's a lovely way of putting it.
And we would laugh, and then go to the bathroom. Yeah.
God.
Oh my goodness.
I have so many embarrassing moments. I can't pick one out.
Don't ever feel that you need to limit yourself to just one.
That's right. It's like live life, live on the edge. This would be a great documentary, Sue. It really would.
Absolutely.
It really would. It really would.
But when our life stories turn into movies, you are editing
That's
them.
right.
Okay, it's a deal. It's a deal.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, that kind of hurt. Is there anything else on here? Do you have
eyeliner?
Eyeliner?
Yeah.
Not that I'm wearing right now.
Do you?
I have some, but
okay.
I haven't worn it for, probably a year. We're on Zoom meetings. Yeah. I should do something, but it's just like, I think in the early days I did. The mere fact that I put on lipstick today,
that
is for you.
That's big.
That is for you.
Well, is there anything, Sue, that you would like to leave us with? Any parting thoughts or messages?
No, just that this has been a lot of fun. Most of what I've had on a Wednesday evening in quite some time. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for thinking that we're fun, because we think we are. We think we're hilarious, but not everyone.
Not anybody else.
You are. Let me go ahead and let you know you are.
Thank you. We got a comment, and I don't know if you saw this or not, Kellen, but it was on somebody commented on YouTube. It was one of our shows, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 shows ago. And it was a gentleman who commented, and he said, "This is just fluffy stuff. It's too light. No thanks. I'm going to pass." And I'm thinking, well, good, because we're not,
we're not
political commentators. We're
not CNN,
I was like, okay, it sounds like maybe.
But yeah, he was to me in the 60 minutes,
Right.
And I'm wondering why we don't need to comment. You can just leave,
buddy. Yeah.
Why bother commenting? Just
turn it off. Yeah. Just.
Well, we're not for everybody, but we're for some people.
Well, I think that works very well.
Well, I am so honored that you are spending time with us, because I'm still in awe of what you've accomplished and how awesome you are. And thank you so much for joining.
You guys are fun, and I'm always willing to spend time with awesome ladies. So
okay, we'll have you back.
Well, we'll do it again tomorrow night. We can video.
Yeah, we can do it Thursday. Our producer will do whatever we say.
There you go. Unless somebody can control them. So.
I'm surprised he hasn't made me leave yet.
I keep expecting him to pop in.
Okay, well, do you want to do our share spiel?
Our what?
Our share spiel.
Our share spiel is that when we talk about sharing this? Oh, well, yeah, subscribe and share. We kind of talked about it at the beginning, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. As long as you're not looking for things that are not light and airy and whatever it was he said, because that is what we're offering up here. But if you could share this out, we would appreciate it so much. And Sue is just amazing. Everybody needs to hear about Sue. It needs to hear from her. So share that out. Subscribe on YouTube. Like our Facebook page. Hang out with us every Wednesday night.
And thank you, Blue Sky Video Productions, for being our most awesome producer, and Cards That Wow, our 2 sponsors. We'll see you guys next week. And I was supposed to take my calendar out and be ready for this, but I'm not. Our guest is Amy Lee, and I met her on Clubhouse, and she's a dream coach. She helps you create your dreams. She's really fun. You're gonna love her.
Well, all right.
I know I massacred what she does, but sorry.
We'll straighten it out next week for her.
Yeah. Thank you again, Sue.
Thanks so much, Sue.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.